All right, welcome to the Fantasy Six Pack Network. My name is Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me, Corey Pieper, as we go through his top 10 third base for the upcoming 2025 fantasy baseball season. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. It's good. Third base is good. Starting to think about more fantasy baseball here. We got the NFL draft coming up. We're talking about that. Considering that we are actually between both of the sports that we do a lot of, I feel like I am as busy as ever.
Right. Yes. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. So, all right. Well, before we jump into things, though, I just want to remind everybody, hit that subscribe button, the like button, follow us, leave those comments. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, jump over to FantasySixPack.net, become an all access member. You can get access to our award winning rankings, our draft cheat sheet that I will be pumping out here probably early February. And then all the projections, and then during the season, the DFS content and all the betting content that comes along with it, and of course our Discord where you get to talk to both of us during the season and everybody else included. So it is more than worth it. F6P MLB 25 to save 15% off any of our plans. But let's jump into everything here. And number 10, Alec Bohm of the Philadelphia Phillies.
It's just boringly good. That's all we can say about Alec Bohm. He's just so boringly good. He plays. He's played at least 100. Last year was actually the low with 143 games, but three straight seasons.
Yeah, he got hurt for a little bit, I think.
Yep. 3 straight seasons, over 600 plate appearances, though. Last 2 years, he's had exactly 97 RBIs, between 15 and 20 home runs. And the last 3 years, he's had a batting average between 274 and 280. I mean, it's so rock solidly consistent. Yes, the runs were a little low last year. He only scored 62 runs. It's just a weird fluke. He had over 74, 79 the years before that. It's a great Phillies lineup. He's still getting on base 33% of the time. He will get the runs scored back in the 80 range. So if you want to write it in pen, he's going to get around 80 runs. He's going to have probably 15 home runs, 90 plus RBIs, and it's going to come with a 280 batting average. And I know there was rumors that he was getting traded, that the Phillies wanted to trade him. It hasn't happened yet. I don't know. We're now here in early January. If it hasn't happened yet, there's a good chance it probably won't happen, because I'm not really sure what the replacement plan would be at this point. So I think Alec Bohm's back in Philly. I think it's a good lineup. I think he probably does what he continues to do what he's been doing here, and that's just be really good at kind of a boring way.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. Like, and he's so cheap in drafts because he's boring. Nobody wants him. It's like, yeah, I could do better. It's like, can you though?
I'll take consistent.
I mean, right? It's kind of funny. And you mentioned the runs. Like, you do have to wonder, like, how much of that was, Bryce Harper, not being around and not being super healthy, like not really playing up to his standards. Real Muto, I think, also got affected. We talked about in the catcher position, top 10. Real Muto, I think everybody in that offense got a little affected by Harper not being Harper, for a portion of last season. And once he started clicking, oh man, you could see it, like the whole offense picked up. And so there you go. So yeah, I also expect the run total to bounce back up too. But yeah, boring but safe. So there you go. Perfect. Alex Bregman. I mean, the same. This is the same guy, right?
They're a lot in common. The question here, of course, is where does he end up signing?
Right.
We want him to sign with, I don't think he's going back to Houston. That'd be a great fit. But now that they have acquired Christian Walker and Isaac Paredes, I assume that both the corner infields are full, so he will be out of Houston. I've seen some rumors of the Yankees. That'd be great. Put him in that lineup, kind of some small park. I'd be fine with that. But there's also talk of Detroit, which is a really challenging hitter's park. So I kind of ranked him with the assumption of Houston when I first did this. It can move a little bit either way, but he's another one. Like you said, it's pretty consistent. He's played it. He's got at least 600 plate appearances the last 3 years, including a 724 in there, and between 23 and 26 home runs. And he's going to get you around 90 RBIs, and he's going to hit about 260 doing it. If you just put that in pencil, I think you feel pretty good about taking Alex Bregman. And I wouldn't expect a whole lot more. You can feel confident in the run score there because he is so good at drawing walks. That's always been a big part of his game, is he gets on base a lot. So part of the reason I put him ahead of Alec Bohm is I do trust the runs scored a little bit more with him, but I mean, it's splitting hairs, man.
Yeah, like any concern that so you mentioned the walks, like his walk rate was pretty much not quite cut in half, but pretty close last season. And then, we saw the runs and the RBI drop to 79 75 last season, which were the lowest since 2021 when he only played 91 games. So any concern there with that's kind of now who he is, or is that just like a fluke?
I think it's just a fluke. I know the walk rate dropped to just under 7%, but that's after 5 or 6 consecutive years over 12, 13%. I think it bounces back. I don't see that he suddenly just lost the ability to take a walk. So maybe he was trying to press to try to get that big contract. I mean, I can write a narrative in my mind for something like that, but I think he bounces back and gets the walk rate back up there and the runs come with it.
Yeah, early projections have his walk rate back up to 10.3, which is, projections do. They kind of go right in the middle and maybe lean a little heavily toward, kind of some more of the history, but they didn't go all the way there, which is exactly what projections are going to do. So, if it happens, I don't, as you said, I wouldn't be surprised either. So let's go to a number 8, Junior Caminero. This one, a lot of people probably would debate you on this one. Like, I don't think there's a lot of people that like him, and then I think there's a lot of people who are like, nah, not yet. So why do you like him?
It's a little projecty. It absolutely is. But I mean, this guy is still only 21 years old. I think a lot of people, you're talking about people don't like him. I think a lot of people are a little snake bit after last season. There was, people doing early drafts last year. He was going pretty early because we all thought, okay, well, he came up at the end of the 2023 season. He acquitted himself well. He's going to be up early. And then Tampa Bay kind of tricked us. And then he got hurt. So he didn't come up till the middle of the season. We only saw 43 games out of him. So if you drafted him early and you just kept holding him and eating it, then yeah, that sucked. But when he did come up, I mean, he showed that the power is real. That 6 home runs, 18 RBIs, and 165 at bats. The underlying data, like the barrel rates, the hard hit rates, they're there. 45% hard hit rate, 12, almost a 12% barrel rate. You're not going to get steals. You're not going to get steals if you're hoping to get steals from him, even at young age. It's not going to happen. But I mean, his bat speed that's tied with Aaron Judge. That's a good person if you want to be a power hitter to have a good comparable bat speed score too. Yeah. So I don't have the projections up in front of me. I'm banking on about 25 home runs already this season at least.
Projections are higher. They're at 29 home runs for him, about 260 batting average. Early projections right now are only Steamer. So, once we get like ATC and at bat and all these other ones coming out, we'll see where everything lies. But that's right now very favorable toward him. So, and I like it. I like the aggressive projections on him because I do think he's got the talent. We've seen it in the minor leagues. He just crushes. So sometimes it takes, a half a season for some of these, prospects like this to kind of have it click. And once it does, man, sky's the limit. So I really, really like him myself too. So number 7, Matt Chapman.
This one kind of hurts because, okay, it's a quick story here. I had a dynasty team where Matt Chapman was off to a brutal start after a terrible 2023 season. And it's I think it's 12-team league, kind of shallow. So I cut bait early in the season. And that I had Alec Bohm, so I'm not completely hurt. But that did not work out because suddenly Matt Chapman bounced back to having one of the best seasons of his career. And that's saying something. I have no idea where the speed came from. The 15 stolen bases. This is a guy who
San Francisco is one reason for it. They like to manufacture runs.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I just didn't see it. He had 11 steals going into last season. I don't know if I wouldn't bank on 15 again. I think you can get 10, but bounce back, 27 home runs, 78 RBIs, 247 batting average. That's the best we've seen from him in a while too. So the batting average bounced back and then 98 runs scored. That is, if you take away 2023, which I said was a down year, that is now 3 consecutive seasons of 27 home runs and over 70 RBIs. So you're talking about just put that one in pen. Like you can put it in pen apparently that he's going to have around 27 home runs because he keeps doing it, and the StatCast looks great. I mean, top end bat speed, average X velocity of 93. We talk about how we want at least 90. 93 is fantastic. So I think it's fully repeatable, except for the speed. I said I will not bank the speed. Maybe I'll take 10, but I'd feel more comfortable at 8, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the projections have him at 9, and even that's like you kind of don't feel good about it.
No,
let's be real. Like even in 2023, like 4, and that was like I don't think he got faster.
no.
At 31, like let's be real. So, but yeah, power bat, moderate batting average. It's just a matter of like Fair is always like sneaky good. Like they just got guys, right? They bring him in kind of when they're like, nobody really cares about him. And it's like, oh yeah,
And
we're
it
gonna
works.
make you good again. Like it just
Yeah.
works. It's a weird thing over there. So, all right, moving on to number 6, Jordan Westburg, another Oriole. Talked about him earlier in the catcher position one when we were talking to Adley. Got hurt last year. This dude was an all-star. He was amazing. Got hurt and just brutal.
I really wanted to put him higher. I really did, but the third base position gets really strong at the top.
Does.
But Jordan Westburg has all the makings of a stud at this position. And here's the other part. Jordan Westburg is I think the only person we're going to talk about today who is multi-eligible. You can play him at second, which is even better because that is a rough position. So you're probably going to play him at second, but it was an impressive season. 107 games. He missed time with a fractured hand, I believe. He got hit in a pitch and broke his hand, but 107 games, 57 home runs, 18 RBI, 63 steals, or 63 ribbies, 6 steals, and a 264 average. Now, I said 63 steals. I don't think he's going to get that, but you can look at some of the underlying data and you can dream on a 2020 plus season here, which the only third baseman who's done that in the last 15 years is Jose Ramirez. And you can see how Jordan Westburg does this. A 91st percentile sprint speed, so we know he's plenty fast.
Mm-hmm.
The hard hit data is awesome. He is barreling up the ball. He doesn't really walk. He swings a lot. I just think that Jordan Westburg is great. I think he's going to be fantastic for a long time at this position. So I said, I have him at 6. I wanted to push him higher. We're just going to start hitting some really high end players here.
You get to the elite of the elite. And it's a shame what happened to him. It was kind of a surprise all-star, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the American League. And I remember when his name got, announced as the starting third baseman for the American League. I was like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right. But yeah, I mean, 18 home runs last year. I mean, it was like most of it was in it was all in the first half. Like it was before the injury. He came back, and even in just like the 6 games, it wasn't pretty. In the 6 games he played right before the playoffs, no home runs in 6 games. Clearly wasn't right. Don't let that sway your opinion on Jordan Westburg. I promise you, he is a very, very talented player. And yes, second base, if you can swing it, is where you want to place him. That will make your team that much better. So moving on to our top 5 in Jazz Chisholm. This one's controversial. I'm not going to lie. Hey, dude, he's super talented, but man, can he just disappear?
Well, it disappears when he gets hurt. That's what gets you here is the injuries are irritating. Now, the Yankees played him at third, so we've never talked about Jazz Chisholm at third before, right? It was second and the outfield, but then he got brought to New York and they said, we're going to try you at third. We got a career high in games played, so that's a good starting point here. It was really the first time he stayed healthy, 147 games last year. Now, I talked about, we don't see a lot of power and speed combinations here. That's what Chisholm's on here for. He had the 24 homers, stole 40 bases. The average, you're going to get around 250. He hit 256 last year. And I think we can pretty much bank on that again if you trust him to stay healthy, right? You're getting the full season in Yankee Stadium with the lineup around him, which was nothing. I mean, so much better than anything he ever had with Miami. He struck out less and he hit the ball harder than ever before when he was with New York. Now, that could have been just a small sample outlier, but if he does that over a full season where he's hitting the ball as hard as he was with New York, I think we can get to 30 home runs. I think he can do that, which would be a new career high for him. Last year's 24 was the highest, but I think we could get 30 home runs. And if we got 40 steals on top of that, that's a top 2-round player. So
Yeah.
this is a lot of upside. Now there is a very low floor here. So high ceiling, low floor. How risky do you want to be with one of your early picks?
Yeah, because he is going early. I want to say early ADP on him right now. I just did my. I just had some stuff up earlier today and don't have it up. Here it is. Hang on. Early ADP on Jazz Chisholm right now is. Oh, come on, Excel. Let's find it. Jazz Chisholm, his early ADP is around 30, 34. So 34. It's I mean, so that's like the average, but like ranking is like 26. So
a third round, you're going a third round pick.
Third round for him. For some reason, like Yahoo has him way down at 56. Yahoo's ADP right now is really all over the place. I'm sure it will fix itself. Like I'm seeing like Gunnar Henderson at 30. Like it makes no sense. I don't know what's going on.
I might have to jump into a Yahoo.
No kidding. I'm
here.
Like,
wow.
Like Aaron Judge at number 10. I'm like, wait, what? Like I don't know what's going on over there. This is clearly some kind of wacky data that and I literally pulled it today. So it's I mean it's as up to date as you can get. But yeah. But everybody else has him at 30, 25, 25. So expect to have to pay up for him. And yeah, you're right. I mean, he can absolutely return that and then some. It's just, man, the injuries. I mean, I hate to like not draft a guy because you're worried about him getting injured, but I mean, that's been him like his whole career. So you really got to worry about it. But let's move on to number 4. Austin Riley had a horrendous start to 2024. Really turned it on later, but those who drafted him super early probably didn't recover from that horrendous start. So, but you're back in.
I'm back in. Yeah. So yeah, you mentioned it. Through the end of May, 3 home runs, 18 RBIs, 228 batting average. That's pretty miserable for a player you probably spent a top 40 pick on at least, I would say, last year.
Yeah, I think he's going to second round, man.
Second round, yeah, top 30 pick. So, but then from the start of June till the end of the season, he looked more like himself. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the full season because in mid-August, kind of like Jordan Westburg, he got hit on that hand with a pitch and broke his hand. So we didn't see the rest of it. But if you take just that middle chunk there, he hit 16 home runs, 38 RBIs, and hit 275 over 68 games. I mean, that's essentially double that. You're at 30 home runs, 80 RBIs, 275. The RBIs being low is an oddity. Again, that's, if you're playing in a Braves lineup that hopefully has Ronald Acuna back and Ozzie Albies healthy and Michael Harris healthy, the RBIs are going to be there. And that's part of what this is, right? I still, looking at the data, like he had a 15% barrel rate. He hit the ball hard 53% of the time. His X slug was over 500. He is still contacting the ball at one of the top batters in the game. He's batting in the middle of a lineup that has all-stars galore on it. That was 2 years ago set records for how many runs they scored. And pretty much everybody's back again. So I am, once again, if I can get a deal on Austin Riley, having fallen from the second round, if I can get him now at the back of the third round or into the fourth round, I'll take advantage of the dip. I think this is the same Austin Riley we saw. Yeah, it started slow. I don't know why it happens. I guess sometimes baseball's a fluky game, but I still think Austin Riley's the same player that was going early last year, and so I'm willing to take any discount I can get.
Yeah, it was a weird thing. We talked about it a lot on the Fantasy Six Pack Hour kind of early on because he was just a massive bust and like it was just a hot topic all the time. And it was like, what is going on with this guy? And I remember looking into the stats a little more and like he was just swinging and missing on fastballs. And so like people were just like peppering him with the down and outside fastball, down and inside fastball. Like they were just, and he couldn't catch up to it. So, I don't have it split out per month to see if he finally like fixed the fastball usage. For this, I didn't prepare for that talk, but overall, like that is a massive drop, and we saw that like 3 seasons ago, like that was a big deal. Like he couldn't catch up, he was striking out a lot, and then boom, he started being able to connect on the fastball, and then the power just we saw the power like massively, and it stayed that way until last season, and then everything started dropping off again. And so there is a little worry there, but I mean, you've got him at 4, so that's kind of baked in. So I do like it. But number 3, Manny Machado. Dude, we talked about a couple of like boring guys. Like I feel like Manny Machado is considered kind of boring. Like you just know what you're gonna get from him. It's never like it's not awesome. It's not gonna be like 120 RBI. It's not going to be 35, 40 home runs. Like he's not that guy nor, but he's so good.
Boring excellence wins a lot of fantasy leagues.
Yes.
Like boring. If you want to just drop Manny Machado into your lineup early on and say, okay, I'm banking a little bit of everything in all 5 categories, go ahead and do that, because we are talking about a guy now who has hit at least 28 home runs 9 consecutive years. That's just wild. Now, like you said, has he ever hit 40? Nope, he has not. So it's this tight margin between 28 and 37 in there. So, low 30s home runs. He's had at least 160 runs in RBIs all 9 of those years. So he finds a way to be a contributor there. He has a career 280 batting average, so you're not going to worry about him hurting your batting average. And while he's not going to steal a lot of bases anymore like he did earlier in his career, he still stole 11 last year. I mean, I trust him to steal more bases than Matt Chapman, even though Matt Chapman stole 15 last year. I think if I'm banking on one, I'll take Manny Machado there. And he's in the lineup all the time. It's a good lineup. You talk about, Tatis and Xander Bogaerts, Luis Arraez, Jake Cronenworth. It's a good lineup. That'll be good lineup again. And he's going to sit right in the middle of it and play every day for your team. Once again, a lot of times he tends to fall in fantasy drafts beyond this. Like he probably falls. I don't have the ADP again, but I wouldn't be surprised if Austin Riley's not above him, Jazz Chisholm's not above him. I'll take Manny Machado and just take advantage of the little bit of a fall there, because I know what I'm getting and it's good.
Yeah, no, and I was just going to bring that up. He does fall. He slips past all those guys. Now he is like that last kind of elite tier of third baseman in your ADP, and then it's like complete free fall of ADP, and then it's everybody else. So you're still you have to pay up for these like top 5, 6 guys, and then after that, like it's all just kind of whoever you want. You can pick and choose all these guys, and there's some really good players later on, but they all have their warts. So there's a reason why you got to pay up for these guys. But yeah, Manny, like I said, he's kind of boring. You kind of forget about him. It's just kind of like, but he doesn't have the upside here, and you pay for upside when you're that early. And Manny doesn't have the upside anymore. He just produces. So it's like, isn't that good? It should be enough, right? But I guess not. But number 2, Rafael Devers. Another kind of steady as you can be, right?
Yeah, steady as he can be. Last year was a little bit of a down across the board. The 28 home runs were the fewest that he'd had since, no, not counting the COVID year, since his 2018. The 83 RBIs, the same thing. 272 batting average is still good, but I think it was pretty easy to explain this one away too. He missed about a week early I would say in April with a shoulder injury. And then he kind of played through it. And then at the end of the year, they shut him down early with a shoulder injury. So he's another one, just kept going out there every day, but I don't think he was fully healthy. And if you're still giving me 28 home runs and 83 RBIs with a 272 average in a down year in 138 games, I will take that all day, every day. At some point, he's going to move to first base, but we're going to take advantage of the third base eligibility until we can't. You look back on some of the years that he's had, 38 home runs, 113 RBIs. He also had another year we had a 311 average. And I still dream about this year because he's still just 28 years old,
right?
Where he's going to have a year of like 100 plus runs, 35 homers, 115 ribbies, and he's going to hit 300 doing it. I still think that is an honest possibility. I'm never going to predict that, but he plays in a great hitter's park in Boston. There's a great lineup around him now. I don't know what
getting
the downside is with
better.
Rafael Devers.
It's still not the greatest of lineups, but it's not awful.
No.
But yeah, like Duran obviously, breaking out last year helped that tremendously. Casas, we're hoping, becomes a legit superstar. Trevor Story, please stay healthy, right? And then there's a bunch of guys out there that are pretty good. But yeah, Devers, the one thing, and maybe you're right with the injury last year, but the strikeout rate really rose last year, and maybe that's just him not being able to catch up on things. He got a bum shoulder. Somebody who's had shoulder issues. I'm not swinging at, major league fastballs, but I can't do a lot of other things that are a lot easier when I've got a bad shoulder. I can't imagine how hard it is to swing at a major league fastball when you've got a bad, a shoulder that is not right. So, yeah, if he's doing what he did last year with a bad shoulder, then yeah, sign me up. I love it. So number one here, Jose Ramirez, no surprise.
I mean, what do you say? It's just how about consistent excellence? That is Jose Ramirez. He finds ways to produce at new levels that we honestly have never seen before last year. 114 runs scored. That's a new career high. 39 home runs. He had done that one other time. 118 RBIs. He barely got in there. 41 stolen bases, so one home run shy of the about seventh person all time to be in the 40-40 club, and a 279 average. He's just does that is literally 5 category production of the top degree. So if you want to take Jose Ramirez as high as, I think, 4th overall is about where I can get it to. I think that's perfectly fine. Go ahead and do it, because he's great, and he's going to be great again, because while he is now, is he 32? I think he is. I don't think that
Yes,
there's
32.
I do not believe there is a drop off here for a while yet.
Yeah, I mean, no, like you could get him. I believe you were able to get him in like the second round last year.
Wild. That is
Yeah,
wild and think about now.
and I mean, I think people were looking at it and just kind of seeing that his runs dropped, his RBIs dropped, his home runs dropped, the steals were still there. He had kind of a rough 2023 overall. Like, it didn't start off very well, didn't end all that great either. Kind of went on like a stolen base spree at the end to kind of even get it up to where it was in 2023. So I think people were kind of like skittish with him. I kind of was, but not, because I mean, you cannot project 39 and 41. Like,
No.
no way, no how. But it's for him to do that, and you're not going to project that again this year. Early projections right now have him at 30 and 31. That's
fine.
that's fine. If you can get 30 out of him, you're going to be plenty happy taking him with the 4th, 5th, 6th pick overall. And he plays in a position where, again, like you've said a couple of times, it's good, but man, it's
top heavy.
It's pretty top heavy. So like, if you want one of these elite guys, you're going to have to go get it because everybody else knows it. It is hilarious. Like, it is on NFBC. There is a almost 60 pick difference in Manny Machado and the next third baseman on the list.
Wow.
That's nuts. So
that means I'll have a lot of Manny Machado if he's the one who's going last of that top tier. So
yeah, and honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I probably won't have any of them. They're all good, but give me some of these other guys later, because I'll go after the elite, like, second baseman, because that position just drops off like a rock. Give me that over an elite third baseman, where I could pick up guys like Jake Berger later and be fine. that kind of thing. So
different ways to get there, man.
Right, exactly. So, all right, that is it for our third base top 10. Corey, thank you for helping us get through that. And of course, remind everybody while you're here, jump in, become an all access member, fantasy6spec.net/plans. Use promo code F6P20 MLB25 to save 50%. And tune into some of the other ones that we got coming out here, and see y'all later.